Why the galaxy fears the might of a human supercarrier. Among the towering piles of metal, twisted hulls, and abandoned engines, most travelers saw nothing but rust and ruin. Most, but not Captain Elias Draven. Elias stood on the bridge of his small, battered freighter, the Starward Gale, scanning the horizon with narrowed eyes. His crew, a mix of humans and a few alien allies, shuffled quietly behind him. The humans had grown used to Elia's obsessions. He never looked at a broken ship the way others did. He saw possibility. "There," he said, pointing to a massive shadow half buried in the metallic dunes. "Do you see it?" The crew followed his gaze. Rising from the junk like a sleeping giant was the hull of something enormous. It dwarfed any freighter, cruiser, or battleship they had ever seen. The supercarrier was more than a relic. It was a legend, though few remembered its name. Its paint had long faded and large parts of its hull were scorched, but even in decay it radiated power. "Is that flyable?" asked Mara, his chief engineer, tilting her head. She was human like Elias but far more pragmatic. Elias smiled. "Flyable? I don't know yet. But I will make it fly." The alien crew members muttered among themselves. Most of them came from species that relied heavily on advanced AI to repair ships. They had seen the size and complexity of human ingenuity up close, but nothing like this. Their eyes betrayed skepticism and awe. Elias activated his ship's landing thrusters. The starward gale descended onto the sandy surface, kicking up clouds of rust-colored dust. The crew disembarked, moving cautiously toward the carrier. Its sheer size was intimidating. For scale, a single human freighter could fit entirely inside its lower hangar bays and still leave room to spare. "Ancient design," muttered Torvath, a blue-scaled alien from the distant system of Xyrian. "No one builds like this anymore. The engines alone, they are relics of pregalactic wars, impossible to repair." "Impossible for them," Elias replied with a grin. He ran his hand along the hull. The metal was cold and scarred, but he felt the heartbeat beneath it, the faint hum of residual energy, a spark that had survived centuries. "Humans think differently. We fix what others throw away." The crew spent hours exploring the interior. Most corridors were dark, covered in layers of dust and corrosion. The air was breathable but stale. Old systems flickered occasionally, hinting at the carrier's dormant potential. "What do you think this used to be?" asked Sierra, a human scientist who specialized in alien technology. She tapped her scanner against a corroded control panel. "Weapons? Command ship? It's massive." "All of the above, maybe," Elias said, examining the central bridge. Broken screens lined the walls and many consoles were melted or missing entirely. But to him, it was a playground. He saw potential for human engineering, the kind that no alien AI could replicate. By nightfall, the crew had secured the ship and established temporary power. Using scavenged energy cores from nearby junk, Mara managed to get the carrier's main systems humming faintly. Lights flickered on along the vast corridors, revealing the ship's incredible scale. The main hangar, large enough to house 50 freighters, stretched before them like a cathedral. As the humans explored further, Elias walked to what appeared to be the command bridge. From here, the galaxy could be controlled, or so it seemed. Panels flickered weakly, showing fragmented star maps of old territories and unknown sectors. The carrier had been part of something great and terrifying, long before humans had ever ventured into these parts of space. "We can make it ours," Elias whispered, more to himself than anyone else. Mara looked at him with a raised eyebrow. "Yours to command, sure, but this is a skeleton. You can't just flip a switch and call it a supercarrier." "That's where you're wrong," Elias said. "We don't just flip switches. Humans reinvent the switches. We make dead things alive." Over the next few weeks, the crew worked tirelessly. Mara led the engineering efforts, directing human ingenuity and alien expertise in equal measure. They scavenged old alien tech from nearby derelicts and fused it with human modifications. The aliens on the crew often questioned their methods. Humans, they said, were reckless, turning broken components into something that should have been impossible. But the humans thrived on risk. Elias encouraged improvisation, and soon the carrier's energy core began to stabilize. Sensors flickered to life, scanning nearby star systems with faint blue sweeps. Life support systems functioned again, and the crew began using the old corridors as living and working spaces. One evening, while the crew rested, Elias walked the bridge alone. The stars outside were faint, the galaxy's forgotten systems stretching endlessly. For the first time, he felt the weight of what they were creating. The humans on Viral 9 were building something the galaxy hadn't seen in millennia, a ship that could rival entire fleets. A warning sounded, a small red light on the control panel. It was a minor error, a residual warning from the carrier's ancient AI, but Elias smiled. "This ship has secrets," he said aloud, "and we're going to wake them all." The first test of the carrier came sooner than expected. While scanning nearby sectors, Sierra detected a rogue mining fleet, heavily armed but disorganized. The humans saw an opportunity. The carrier's engines, though ancient, could support slow maneuvering. Using makeshift thrusters and auxiliary power, Elias guided the carrier closer to the fleet, hiding behind an asteroid belt. "Are we attacking?" Torveth asked nervously. Elias shook his head. "No, not yet. Let's see if they even notice us." The aliens laughed. "Notice? A ship that size?" But Elias only smiled. Humans didn't need to rely on size or raw firepower alone. They relied on creativity. Using the carrier's sensor jammers, retrofitted and modified by Sierra, they masked the ship's presence. When the mining fleet passed, unaware of the giant human vessel nearby, the crew marveled at the efficiency of their work. The carrier moved like a shadow, unseen and untouchable. "That's impressive," Torveth admitted. "I didn't think humans could." Elias cut him off. "Don't finish that sentence. You'll ruin it." By the end of Part 1, the Supercarrier's systems were alive, though still incomplete. Engines hummed, life support worked, and the crew had begun to understand the ship's ancient capabilities. Yet it was not a weapon yet, not in the traditional sense. But for humans, the possibilities were limitless. Where alien engineers saw limits, humans saw opportunities. Where alien fleets relied on protocol, humans relied on adaptability and cunning. And somewhere deep inside the carrier, hidden modules flickered, ancient weapons bays, AI routines, and defensive systems. The galaxy had forgotten them. The humans had not. Elias stood on the bridge, looking out at the stars. A smile spread across his face. "Let them laugh," he said softly. "Let them think we are weak. They haven't seen anything yet." The supercarrier had awakened. Its engines hummed a steady pulse, filling the vast corridors with vibration. Humans moved like ants inside its hull, busy, determined, and alive with purpose. Alien crew members watched with cautious admiration. They still did not fully understand how humans worked. Every decision seemed reckless, yet it produced results. Captain Elias Draven stood on the bridge, staring at the holomap projected above the control console. The stars of the nearby system shimmered in 3 dimensions, dotted with enemy fleets, abandoned colonies, and trade routes. "We have a choice," Elias said. "We can stay hidden here, or we can show the galaxy what humans are capable of." Mara, ever practical, frowned. "You mean provoke someone? This ship is huge. One serious enemy fleet and—" "We'll be ready," Elias interrupted. "We are humans. We don't just fight, we think. And thinking is what makes us dangerous." Their first mission came in the form of a distress signal from a small human colony called New Ethra, located in a nearby star system. The colony had been raided by a mercenary fleet from the alien Virin consortium, who stripped planets bare for profit. When the humans picked up the signal, Elias saw opportunity, not just to save lives but to test the carrier. "Set course for New Ethra," Elias commanded. We move quietly. The Viren fleet is dangerous but slow and predictable. Let's remind them why humans are trouble. The carrier moved like a ghost among the stars, its massive shadow slipping past sensor sweeps. Humans had learned to mask their presence with modified alien technology, retrofitted and enhanced with human ingenuity. The Viren fleet never knew the supercarrier was there until it was too late. The first sign of action came as the Viren ships began scanning for the distressing colony. One cruiser, sleek and deadly, detected faint energy readings. Its captain, a Viren named Zorvak, squinted at the sensor screens. "What is that?" Zorvak demanded. "It's enormous." "But it's nothing. That is human cunning," Elias muttered to Mara. From hidden bays along the supercarrier's massive hull, Mara had deployed stealth drones, each the size of a small shuttle. These drones emitted signals that mimicked decoy ships, scattering energy signatures across the asteroid belt. To the Viren fleet, it appeared the humans had deployed a dozen small ships instead of one massive supercarrier. The Viren fleet split, chasing false targets. Elias smiled. "Humans don't just fight, we outsmart." The humans arrived at New Ethra in the dead of night. The Viren raiders had already begun stripping resources from the colony, dragging away cargo and supplies. Colonists watched from the shadows, terrified of the massive alien cruisers. "Time to show them why humans are feared," Elias said. Mara activated the carrier's adaptive energy shields for the first real use. The shields were untested in battle, but humans had modified them to distribute energy across the hull, making the ship almost impossible to hit with standard weapons. Then, using a combination of retrofitted tractor beams and boarding drones, the humans began disabling the Viren ships without firing a single shot. Drones slipped along the hulls of enemy cruisers, cutting power lines, jamming sensors, and opening doors. When the Viren crews scrambled, they found the interiors of their ships slowly taken over by humans. "Boarding without fighting," Torveth muttered, his jaw slack. This is insane." "Not insane," Elias replied. "Effective." Within hours, the Viren fleet was in chaos. Several ships had been disabled, and others retreated, unwilling to face an enemy they could not predict. The humans had liberated the colony with minimal damage. The colonists cheered as the supercarrier's massive shadow passed above them, awe and fear in their eyes. News traveled faster than light. By the time the humans left New Ethra, whispers had begun to spread across the galaxy. "Have you heard of the human supercarrier?" one alien trader asked. "They say it appears where you least expect it and leaves your fleet in ruins without even a shot fired." Even alien powers who had dismissed humans as minor players began to pay attention. A Viren commander cursed Elia's name in every star system in his sector. "Those humans," he said, "they fight differently. They think." The next few weeks were a whirlwind. The humans moved from system to system, responding to crises, helping colonies, and testing the carrier's capabilities. Each time, the humans relied not on raw firepower, but on creativity and adaptability. In one system, they rerouted power from the carrier's shields to launch a massive electromagnetic pulse, temporarily disabling an enemy fleet's engines. In another, they lured a group of pirate ships into an asteroid field, using the carrier's modified thrusters and drones to turn the terrain into a weapon. Every action was calculated, every move designed to maximize efficiency and minimize unnecessary destruction. Through it all, the aliens on the crew watched in awe. They had never seen tactics like these. Humans did not rely on size, strength, or advanced AI alone. They relied on imagination and intuition. One evening, as the carrier drifted through a quiet sector, Elias gathered his crew on the bridge. The stars stretched endlessly around them, and the hum of the engines resonated through the massive hull. "You've all seen it," Elias said, his eyes glowing with excitement. "The galaxy underestimates humans. They see us as weak, as minor players, and that is our greatest advantage. Mara leaned against the console. And we've only just begun. The carrier is still incomplete. There are systems we haven't even touched. Weapons, AI modules, things the galaxy forgot existed. Exactly, Elias said. By the time the galaxy understands what humans are capable of, it will be too late. We don't just fight. We adapt, we improvise, we win where others fail. Sierra, scanning the ancient star maps, added quietly, "They'll start noticing us soon. Aliens talk. They fear what they can't predict. And humans," Elias said with a smile, "are unpredictable." The human supercarrier became a legend almost immediately. Word spread of its first victories, not just among humans, but across alien sectors. Traders, mercenaries, and even powerful fleets began whispering, "The humans have a ship so large and so smart that no one knows where it will strike next." Some laughed at the stories, dismissing them as exaggeration. Others, like the Virin Consortium, sent reconnaissance fleets to follow the supercarrier, hoping to confirm its weaknesses. Each time, the humans outsmarted them. The carrier could cloak itself partially using retrofitted sensor jammers. Hidden bays allowed humans to deploy boarding drones and decoys. Human intuition and teamwork allowed them to anticipate enemy strategies. By the end of Part 2, the galaxy had its first real hint. Humans were not to be underestimated. In a private moment, Elias walked the bridge alone, staring at the stars. The supercarrier's corridors hummed with life behind him. Engineers and crew members moved like a living organism, all working together to keep the ancient giant alive. "They think we are weak," Elias murmured. "They don't see it yet. They can't see it. But they will. One day soon, the galaxy will know why humans are feared." He looked at the holomap, seeing the sectors he had yet to explore. Each point represented opportunity, challenge, and another chance to prove the humans' brilliance. Mara approached silently. "Do you ever wonder," she said softly, "if we've gone too far? If the galaxy might actually declare war on us?" Elias shook his head. "No, they've already declared war on themselves. They fear us not because we are stronger, but because we are different, because we think, because we adapt, and because we survive where others fail." Torvath appeared behind them, his scaled face unreadable. "If what you say is true, Captain, the galaxy is going to remember humans for a long time." "Yes," Elias said, smiling. "They'll remember us, and not just for what we fight, for how we fight." And so the supercarrier sailed through the galaxy, a giant among stars. The humans on board were small, but their minds were vast. The galaxy had not yet realized it, but the legend had begun. The first victories were over, but the real story, the story that would terrify fleets and inspire colonies, was just beginning. The humans were no longer minor players in a galaxy ruled by aliens. They had awakened something ancient, something powerful, something terrifying to those who underestimated them. And the galaxy would never be the same. The supercarrier floated through the void like a silent predator. Captain Elias Draven stood on the bridge, his eyes scanning the holographic map of the surrounding star systems. The galaxy had noticed them. The whispers of humans' clever victories had reached the ears of powerful alien coalitions. Some laughed, some feared, but all had begun to plan. Now, a coalition of the Virin Consortium, the Sci-Fi Trade Alliance, and several smaller pirate factions had gathered a fleet the size of a small star system. Their goal was simple: destroy the human supercarrier before humans could disrupt their operations any further. Elias did not flinch. He had anticipated this. Humans had always faced bigger, stronger enemies. This was no different. The enemy fleet approached from three vectors, a massive wall of warships stretching across several million kilometers. To any alien captain, the supercarrier alone should have been an easy target. Its massive hull should have made it slow, easy to hit, and vulnerable. They did not understand humans. Elias turned to Mara, his chief engineer. Power to shields, distribute across hull evenly. Sensors ready to project false signals. Torvath, prepare boarding drones. Sierra, scan for weak points in their fleet formation. "Are you sure about this?" Mara asked, concern in her voice. "This is far bigger than anything we've faced." "Exactly," Elias said. "And that's why they won't see it coming. Humans think differently." As the enemy fleet closed, the humans activated the carrier's full stealth systems, a combination of retrofitted alien cloaking technology and human modifications. To the alien fleet, the supercarrier seemed to vanish. They scanned, adjusted, and tried to target it, but it was already moving among them unseen. Then, Elias made the first move. He deployed hundreds of decoy drones, each mimicking a small warship. The enemy fleet split, attempting to engage what appeared to be multiple human vessels. While the aliens were distracted, the supercarrier drifted into the perfect position. "Target their command ship," Elias ordered, "but do not destroy it yet. Let's see how clever they really are." The human strategy relied on predicting the enemy's assumptions. Alien fleets expected frontal attacks, massive firepower, or brute force. Humans used misdirection, improvisation, and adaptability. Boarding drones slipped from hidden bays, silently attaching to enemy hulls, cutting communication lines and sabotaging engine cores. Within minutes, chaos spread through the coalition fleet. Battleships drifted aimlessly, unable to communicate or coordinate. "Look at them," Torvath muttered, his voice almost a whisper. "They don't even know what's happening." Elias smiled. "Humans do not just fight the enemy, we make the enemy fight itself." The supercarrier's shields absorbed energy blasts, then redirected them in small pulses, disabling multiple enemy weapon systems. Aliens scrambled to respond, but every move they made had already been anticipated. "Captain," Sierra shouted, "they're trying to flank us." "3 cruisers are moving behind the asteroid belt." "Good," Elias said calmly. "Let them come. We have a surprise waiting." The humans had prepared a trap. Using the terrain of the asteroid belt, the supercarrier's thrusters, and its retrofitted gravitational projectors, they caused a series of collisions among the enemy ships. One cruiser smashed into another, causing a chain reaction. In moments, 3 massive vessels were reduced to floating wrecks. Even the aliens began to whisper in fear. No one had fought like this before. Hours passed and the battle raged. Every move of the supercarrier was calculated, yet unpredictable. Humans were everywhere at once, thanks to the carrier's drones, stealth systems, and clever engineering. Every time the aliens thought they had a plan, humans were already one step ahead. Elias watched from the bridge as the enemy fleet began to break apart. The humans had achieved something no one thought possible. A smaller, less advanced force had outmaneuvered a massive coalition fleet. But Elias was not satisfied. The goal was not just to survive, it was to teach the galaxy a lesson. The decisive moment came when the enemy's flagship attempted a retreat. Elias gave the order, "Activate the hidden weapons bays." For centuries, the supercarrier had kept its full arsenal dormant. Ancient alien weapons, retrofitted and enhanced by human ingenuity, emerged like waking beasts. Energy cannons, missile arrays, and plasma launchers activated in perfect synchronization. The alien flagship found itself surrounded, trapped, and overwhelmed. Boarding drones attached themselves to the ship, cutting power and disabling weapons from inside. In less than an hour, the flagship was neutralized without mass destruction. The coalition fleet, seeing their command ship immobilized, fled in panic. Humans had not just survived, they had won decisively. After the battle, the supercarrier drifted through the remnants of the enemy fleet. Elias walked the bridge alone for a moment, watching the chaos. "They underestimated us," he said softly, "not because we are weak. Because they cannot imagine what humans can do, Mara approached, pride and awe in her eyes. "Captain, you did it. The supercarrier, it's incredible. No one can stop it." Elias shook his head. "No, not the supercarrier, humans. They fear us because we think we adapt and we survive. That is what makes us dangerous." Torvath, standing nearby, finally spoke. "If what you say is true, the galaxy will remember humans forever." "Yes," Elias said, "they will remember, not just for this battle. For all battles to come. Humans do not just fight, we excel where others fail." News of the victory spread faster than any fleet could travel. Colonies, small and large, hailed the human supercarrier as a symbol of hope. Alien governments, once dismissive, now convened secret meetings to discuss how to counter the humans. But the truth was simple. Humans could not be predicted, and that unpredictability was their greatest weapon. The Viren Consortium issued bounties, the Sci-Fi Alliance mobilized fleets, and mercenaries across multiple systems plotted attacks. Yet every time, humans adapted, outsmarted, and survived. The supercarrier had become more than a ship. It was a symbol of human ingenuity, courage, and determination. Back aboard the carrier, the crew celebrated quietly. They had survived their first real war, and the galaxy had taken notice. Colonies had been saved, lives had been protected, and humans had proven something that no one could ignore: underestimate humans at your peril. Elias stood on the bridge once more, staring at the stars. The galaxy stretched before them, vast and full of unknown challenges. But he was no longer worried. Humans had the supercarrier, yes, but more importantly, humans had each other, their creativity, and the will to survive. That was more powerful than any fleet, any weapon, or any alien technology. "This is only the beginning," Elias said quietly. "The galaxy may fear us now, but soon they will respect us. And maybe, just maybe, they will learn to work with humans instead of against us." Mara nodded. "We'll be ready. Humans always are." And with that, the supercarrier glided silently into the void, a giant of metal and ingenuity, carrying the humans who had proven the galaxy wrong. The legend of the human supercarrier had begun, and there was no turning back. The galaxy had learned its first lesson: never underestimate humans.